10 traps set by narcissists after being exposed. You've done it. You've seen through the mask. You've spoken your truth. You walked away from the manipulation, the lies, the emotional chaos. And just when you think you're finally free, that's when they strike. Because narcissists don't take exposure lightly. To them, being exposed, not just to you but to others, is one of the greatest threats they can face. It threatens their image, their control, and their ability to keep manipulating people in the future. So what do? They set traps. Carefully crafted, emotionally charged, psychologically manipulative traps, designed to pull you back and discredit you or make you question your own reality. In this video, we're going to walk through 10 common traps narcissists set after being exposed. These aren't random behaviors. They are deliberate strategies, often repeated with precision. Based on real behavioral patterns observed by psychologists, we'll explain exactly how these traps work, why narcissists use them, and most importantly, how to recognize and avoid them. This isn't about paranoia or fear. It's about awareness. Knowledge is power. And understanding these tactics give you the clarity and strength to protect yourself moving forward. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what to watch for and how to stay safe once you've taken the brave step of exposing a narcissist. Let's begin with something important. Narcissists thrive on secrecy. Their entire world is built on hiding the truth about themselves, their behavior, and the damage they cause. When someone like you begins to shine light into those dark corners, they panic. That panic leads to action, not honest reflection, but retaliation disguised as concern, apology, or even love. Their goal? To regain control, to make you doubt yourself, to silence you without you realizing it happening. And that's where the traps come in. First, they send false apologies. Out of nowhere, they reach out, not to take responsibility, but to sound remorseful enough to confuse you. They may say things like, "I'm sorry if I hurt you," or "I didn't mean to make you feel that way." But notice, there's no accountability, no ownership of their actions, just vague, emotion-laden language meant to soften your guard and pull you back into conversation. Second, they play the victim. Suddenly, they are the ones who have been wronged. They claim you misunderstood them, exaggerated the situation, or even betrayed them. This reversal is classic gaslighting, making you question whether you were too harsh, too quick to judge, or too emotional. Third, they use mutual friends or family members to pressure you. Instead of reaching out directly, they enlist others to deliver messages, check up on you, or imply that you're causing unnecessary drama. These intermediaries often don't realize they're being manipulated. They genuinely believe they're helping both sides reconcile. But in reality, they're tools used to wear down your boundaries. Fourth, they create false emergencies. Out of nowhere, they may claim they're in crisis, financial trouble, health issues, legal problems, or ask for help in an urgent tone. These situations may be exaggerated or completely fabricated, but they're designed to trigger your empathy and guilt. If you respond, they gain access to you again, and the cycle begins anew. Fifth, narcissists often engage in a very specific form of emotional manipulation by flaunting new relationships or exaggerated signs of success. Whether these claims are true or completely fabricated, their goal is always the same: to make you believe they're thriving without you. They may post carefully selected photos on social media, ones that suggest excitement, luxury, or deep emotional connection. Or they might drop subtle hints in conversations or online posts about how much better life has become since you left. Sometimes they'll even mention being happier than ever or finding someone who truly understands them. This behavior isn't about genuine happiness or personal growth. It's about provocation. It's designed to make you wonder if you made the right choice, if you truly understood their value, or if you were too quick to walk away. They want you to question yourself, to feel regret, and most importantly, to feel like you missed out on something meaningful. That doubt weakens your resolve and makes it more likely that you'll respond to their attempts to reconnect. And every time you react, even with curiosity or sadness, you give them exactly what they want: your attention and emotional energy. 6. They begin spreading negative stories about you behind your back as a way to control the narrative and protect their own image. This usually involves exaggerating past conflicts, distorting your words, or outright fabricating events that paint you in a negative light. They may tell mutual friends or family members that you are overly emotional, unstable, or difficult to be around. In some cases, they twist the truth just enough to make their version of events seem believable, especially to people who weren't directly involved. This smear campaign isn't about self-defense or protecting their reputation. It's about discrediting you before others can believe your side of the story. By making you look unreliable or emotionally volatile, they hope to isolate you and make sure no one takes your word over theirs. It's a deeply strategic move meant to silence you and prevent you from speaking openly about your experiences. And because they often present themselves as the victim, people who don't know the full truth may start to believe their version of events. 7th, narcissists frequently test your boundaries, even after you've clearly stated that you want no contact. They do this in subtle but persistent ways, hoping you'll eventually break and respond. One common tactic is sending messages without actually saying anything meaningful, just enough to trigger curiosity or concern. They might send a message that reads simply, "Hey," or leave it blank, knowing that seeing a receipt will remind you they're still trying to reach you. They may also comment on your old social media posts, follow you through fake accounts, or show up in places they know you frequent, always under the guise of coincidence. These small violations of your space and peace are not random. They're intentional attempts to wear down your resistance over time. Each tiny interaction chips away at your emotional defenses, making it harder to maintain the distance you've worked so hard to establish. These repeated boundary tests are exhausting, but recognizing them for what they are, manipulation disguised as persistence, helps you stay strong. Because once you understand that these actions come from a place of fear and insecurity on their part, you realize they have no real power over you. Your strength lies in staying firm, staying silent, and refusing to be pulled back into their world. 8th, narcissists often resort to sending indirect messages through shared experiences as a way to test your presence and provoke a reaction without directly reaching out. These messages can come in many forms. Lyrics from songs you used to listen to together, quotes from movies or books that once held meaning for both of you, or even social media posts referencing events or phrases only the two of you would understand. The goal is subtle but clear. They want to see if you notice, if you respond, or if you at least feel the emotional weight of their message. It's a psychological game designed to make you wonder if they're trying to say something more, if they regret what happened, or if they still care. But it's not about reconciliation. It's about control. They want to know if you're still emotionally available, still vulnerable enough to be pulled back in. 9th, they attempt to reframe the narrative, often long after the relationship has ended. Even months or years later, they may bring up past conversations, arguments, or moment of tension and twist them into a new version of the story, one where you were the one who caused problems. They might tell mutual friends or new partners that you were the one who was always angry, unstable, or difficult to be around. Or they might revisit old conflicts with you directly, presenting themselves as the victim and painting you as the aggressor. This kind of manipulation isn't just about rewriting history. It's about making you doubt your own memory and perception. Over time, this constant distortion can leave you questioning whether you truly understood what happened or if you were the one who got it wrong all along. That's the power of reframing. It keeps you stuck in confusion, second-guessing yourself, and feeling responsible for things that were never yours to carry. 10th, they escalate the threats, either subtly or outright, intended to intimidate you into silence or compliance. These threats can take many forms. Legal action meant to drain your resources, financial retaliation like cutting off support or refusing agreed-upon responsibilities, or even veil references to physical harm. Some may imply that speaking out could damage your reputation, cost your relationships, or expose private information. Others may become more direct, warning you that there will be consequences if you continue to speak negatively about them or refuse to engage on their terms. While not every threat is carried out, the intention is always the same: to instill fear and make you think twice before taking any action that threatens their control. And because narcissists are skilled at reading people, they often tailor these threats to your specific fears, making them feel personal, urgent, and impossible to ignore. All of these traps, the false apologies, the smear campaigns, the guilt trips, the manipulative stories, they all come from one central truth. Narcissists cannot handle being exposed. Exposure is like sunlight to a creature that thrives in darkness. It disrupts their entire system because their power comes not from strength, but from secrecy and confusion. When you shine a light on their behavior, when you speak your truth clearly, walk away with conviction, or simply stop playing along, you take away the very tools they depend on. You remove their ability to manipulate your emotions, distort reality, or keep you trapped in doubt and self-blame. And without those tools, they begin to lose control. That's why they set traps. Because they know that if they can pull you back into the cycle, even for a moment, even just emotionally, they can regain some of what they've lost. They want you confused again. They want you questioning yourself, second-guessing your decisions, and feeling responsible for their pain. That's how they stay in charge. But here's the most powerful realization you can have, one that completely shifts the balance of power. Once you truly see through the illusion, once you understand exactly how they operate and why, they lose their hold on you. Not because you fought them harder, but because you stopped giving them your emotional energy. You don't need to confront them. You don't need to argue or explain yourself. You don't even need to prove them wrong. All you need to do is remain grounded in your own truth, protect your peace, and continue healing at your own pace. Because healing isn't about them. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your sense of self, rebuilding your confidence, and learning to trust your instinct again. And as you do that, something incredible happens. You become immune to their tricks. They may still try to reach out. They may still attempt to confuse you, guilt-trip you, or make themselves look better than they are. But none of it lands the way it used to. Because now you know who they are. You see their patterns. You recognize their tactics. And most importantly, you understand that none of this was ever about your weakness. It was always about their inability to face themselves honestly. The moment you stop reacting the way they expect, the moment you stop engaging with their chaos, they lose their grip on you forever. They can no longer predict your moves, twist your words, or use your empathy against you. And that leaves them with nothing, no control, no influence, and no way to pull you back in. This doesn't mean they'll suddenly change or admit fault. Narcissists rarely do. But it does mean they no longer have the power to hurt you the way they once did. So keep going, keep healing, keep protecting your energy, keep setting boundaries and walking away from anything that doesn't serve your peace. Because freedom isn't something they give you, it's something you claim for yourself. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who might benefit from hearing this truth. Healing is absolutely possible, and understanding the traps set by narcissists after being exposed is one of the most important steps you can take toward reclaiming your life. Thank you for watching.